Hey guys, what's up? This is Ben from Hot 104.7 in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and 2016 marks 10 years since I moved to South Dakota, and I became a South Dakotan. Oh, hey, South Dakotan, I got it right. South Dakotian? South Dakotan. Yeah, we'll go with that. Anyways, my wife and I came up from Nebraska. Before Sioux Falls, we lived in Kearney, Nebraska, in the south central part of the state. And before that, I grew up in the southern panhandle of Nebraska, like just a few miles from the Colorado border. Nebraska and South Dakota are very similar in lots of ways. Both have, a large agricultural element to their economies, an Old West legacy. Both states have large urban centers in the eastern part of the state, and lots of rural space everywhere else. And, both states kind of feel the same way about Iowa. So weird Iowa burn there out of nowhere. Anyways, I'm glad I moved here, and I really like living in Sioux Falls. But there are some things that, as a Nebraska transplant, I'm still not used to. One, no Runzes. If you don't know, Runz is a Nebraska-based chain of restaurants. They serve all the basics: hamburgers, chicken sandwiches, French fries, onion rings, and then they have their signature menu item, the Runza. It's a sandwich made with ground beef, cabbage, cheese, and their special spices. It's a super good place to eat, and after growing up in Nebraska, it just seems weird to me not to see one or several everywhere I go. In fact, I've probably eaten at a Runza more often now that I live out of state and then I go back and visit than I ever did growing up there and seeing one every day. Number 2, sales tax on food. I'll probably never get used to this. To this day, I'm not used to paying sales tax on food at the grocery store. It's so ingrained in my mind that if bread costs $3, I'm going to pay $3. On the other hand, not having to mess around with filing a state tax return in South Dakota, that's been really nice. Number 3, football indifference. Now, I know you might say, hey, Ben, people here in the 605 are pretty football crazy too. Yeah, they like football, but look, it's not even close. I bet you could ask the next 10 people you see today, who's the football coach at the University of South Dakota, and you wouldn't break 50% positive answers. That's not a bad thing. In fact, I think it's kind of great. In Nebraska, even if you have no interest in sports, the actions and antics of the Husker football team seep into your consciousness. It's topic number 1 on the TV, radio, and newspapers. I remember in high school, Mondays after the game were great days because you could always count on losing at least one whole class to discussions between the teacher and students about football. And we just sit in the back row and be like, yeah, not doing anything today. And finally, number 4, cold weather. This might be a little more specific to eastern South Dakota, but it gets and stays so cold here in the winter. I hate the snow, but I can deal with it. But the cold here, it's like a 4-month practical joke the jet stream is playing on us. Sure, in Nebraska, it dropped down below 0, maybe for a couple of days at a time. Then it's right back up to the 30s. Oh, when I see that weather map on TV, when they show the temperatures in Sioux Falls and Aberdeen, Watertown, and then Pierre, and then Rapid City. Oh, I get so jealous of Rapid City. It just stirs such deep nostalgia in me. Like in the Black Hills and stuff out west in western Nebraska, there'd be several times when I was growing up, we'd have cold weather, a blizzard, then 70 degrees. I've experienced more white Christmases, Thanksgivings, Easters, and Halloweens too, here in the last decade in eastern South Dakota than I'd had my entire life before that. And those are 4 things that this Nebraska transplant is still not used to about South Dakota. Hey, check out my other essay, 4 things that can drive you nuts about Sioux Falls. I'm sure there's a button around here somewhere on the screen to click. All right, I'm Ben. See ya.